Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994 introduced an innovative, unique office to the country, specifically to advance community policing and reduce crime in state, local, tribal, and territorial communities. The Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services, better known as the COPS Office, became the first component of the U.S. Department of Justice dedicated solely to serving the needs of law enforcement to reduce crime and maintain public safety.
The COPS Office's initial goal was simple: to put 100,000 more officers on the streets, and in so doing, to reduce crime. In addition, the office promised to offer training, technical assistance, and other resources to help support law enforcement agencies across the country and engage the community.
Within 5 years, the COPS Office fulfilled its initial pledge by awarding federal funds to support the hiring of 100,000 new officers, deputies, and troopers. To date, the COPS Office has been appropriated more than $20 billion to advance community policing, including grants awarded to more than 13,000 state, local, territorial, and tribal law enforcement agencies to fund the hiring and redeployment of approximately 138,000 officers.
Not only does the COPS Office fund the hiring and rehiring of law enforcement professionals through direct programs like the COPS Hiring Program, but it also funds a number of other initiatives, including training, technical assistance, publications, and other resources to advance the practice of community policing and strengthening our community's public safety.
Through the years, the COPS Office has become the go-to resource for law enforcement agencies across the country and continues to listen to the field and provide the resources needed to reduce crime and build trust between law enforcement and the community served. It is the only component in the DOJ that has policing in its name, which reinforces its stature in the department as a vital component responsible for the law enforcement portfolio.
Community policing has never been more important than it is today, as it supports public safety by encouraging all stakeholders to work together. It is those efforts that strengthen our nation's ability to maintain safe and thriving communities.
While we have accomplished a tremendous amount, there is much work that remains, and the COPS Office is excited to continue to play a critical role for law enforcement. With the tremendous support of our law enforcement stakeholders, as well as our congressional support, the COPS Office continues to serve the needs of law enforcement across the country. Supporting law enforcement is our mission. We are proud of the ways we have done that and excited about what we will accomplish in the years to come. The important integral word is trust, building that foundation with partnerships and relationships in the community, all in the efforts of solving problems in our communities. There are problems in communities all across the country, and there are nuances in each community throughout this country, but it's up to the local police departments and police officers to solve problems for the people they serve.
I think the thing that sticks with me most of all was the staff. People who were just absolutely dedicated, highly professional, dedicated, responsive. The notion of customer service was paramount. What I can say is now, even 30 years later, I still hear from our colleagues out there in the law enforcement community who acknowledge the work, the benefits that they derive from the COPS funding and the interaction that they had with staff. You have done a phenomenal job. Your accomplishments have just been tremendous across the country, and it's greatly appreciated.
I think my best memories are twofold. I had an incredible group of employees to work with here. The other thing that was good about my tenure here was I had the continuity of leadership with great deputies that stayed my entire tenure. They were very important in providing any successes that I might take credit for. And the COPS Office, because of our ability to award grants and bring people together to solve issues, we were able to bring people together to try to solve those problems throughout the country.
We continually re-emphasize the three principles of community policing: building relationships, solving problems, and bringing about cultural change. And I'm honored to have been part of it, and I'm honored to have been to have the opportunity to work with the dedicated staff of the COPS Office. It was my honor to spend nearly 4 years working with the dedicated men and women of the COPS Office and the Department of Justice as a whole. It was my privilege to be there, and I wish you all the best of luck going forward. And again, congratulations on 30 years.
I remember working in a COPS office. The first thing that stood out to me during my time there was just a tremendous capacity, professionalism, creativity of the men and women that make up the office. The impact for 30 years is immeasurable. It is outstanding. And I look forward to you to continue to keep up the outstanding work and to help this field keep achieving higher and higher levels of community policing, community engagement, and professional law enforcement. So thank you for that. And thank you ahead of time for what you're going to do for the next 30 years.
The accomplishments that we achieved in the COPS office is certainly continuation of great practices on doing research and working with the field. But we funded more than 13,000 law enforcement agencies. When you think about that, 13 out of 18,000, that's a high percentage of agencies that we have helped over the years. It's been a great ride, great 30 years, and COPS office has done so much to change the face of law enforcement in this country, and it will continue to do so.
So, for 30 years, 30 strong years, the COPS office has been dedicated to advancing community policing to state, local, territorial, and tribal organizations throughout the country. But it will always be interactions between the human element. It will always be about relationships, interactions, partnerships in solving problems in our communities and building those relationships and trust. Trust will continue to be the key word and the key portion of the work done by policing in our communities and building those strong foundations to get the work done. And it's important work. It's an important mission that police officers play in their communities. Congratulations.